Hello, I'm Moira Alderson with the BBC News. Germany's new centre-left Chancellor, Olaf Scholz, has thanked his predecessor Angela Merkel in person and promised to build on her achievements. The two politicians held a warm handover ceremony at the Chancellery in Berlin. Our Europe editor, Danny Eberhard, reports.
The appointment of Olaf Scholz marks the end of an era, after 16 years with Angela Merkel at the helm. He's only the fourth German Chancellor in nearly 40 years. The government will now be led from the centre-left, not the centre-right. But Mr Scholz is promising continuity as well as change, as he aims to build a fairer, greener society. The 63-year-old served as finance minister under Mrs Merkel. He's seen by voters as a safe pair of hands. Mrs Merkel was widely praised as being good in a crisis. Chancellor Scholz faces one right from the off, tackling Germany's worst wave of coronavirus infections.
World leaders have been sending congratulations to Chancellor Scholz. In a warm message, the French President, Emmanuel Macron, said the two would write the next chapter together for their nations and Europe. China's President Xi Jinping said he was willing to work with Mr Scholz to bring their country's ties to a new level. President Putin said he looked forward to establishing a constructive dialogue with the German leader. The British Prime Minister Boris Johnson has apologised for the offence caused by a video that showed his staff joking about reports of a Christmas party in Downing Street last year during a coronavirus lockdown. Responding to questions in Parliament, he said he'd been repeatedly assured that no party had taken place and announced an inquiry into whether rules had been broken.
I was also furious to see that clip. And, Mr Speaker, I apologise unreservedly for the offence that it has caused up and down the country, and I apologise for the impression that it gives.
The allegation that the Prime Minister's staff had a Christmas party when a ban on gatherings was in force has caused widespread public anger. The opposition Labour leader, Keir Starmer, said the Prime Minister had been caught red-handed and his version of events wasn't credible.
The Prime Minister, the government, spent the week telling the British public there was no party. All guidance was followed completely. Millions of people now think the Prime Minister was taking them for fools.
The head of India's armed forces, General Bipin Rawat, has been killed in a helicopter crash in the southern state of Tamil Nadu. The Air Force said his wife and 11 others on board, crew and officers, also died when the aircraft came down in hills near the town of Coonoor. A sole survivor is receiving hospital treatment. Footage from the scene showed the helicopters burning wreckage and local people trying to help put out the flames. World News from the BBC. Police in Malawi have arrested a former finance minister and a former head of the central bank on charges of fraud and abuse of power. Police said Joseph Mwanamveka and Dalitso Kabambe are accused of falsifying figures to help Malawi secure a loan from the International Monetary Fund. Both men served under the former president, Peter Mutharika. He was defeated last year by Lazarus Chakwera, who has promised to stem official corruption in Malawi. A Saudi man arrested at Charles de Gaulle Airport in Paris yesterday on suspicion of involvement in the murder of the dissident Jamal Khashoggi has been released. The French authorities say it was a case of mistaken identity. From Paris, Hugh Schofield reports.
The man arrested at Paris airport had the same name, Khalid Al-Otaibi, as the suspect hunted in the Khashoggi case. According to French police, there was more than that. He also had the same place and month of birth as the suspect, and there was a physical resemblance. Still, on closer examination, it became clear that this was not the Khalid Al-Otaibi for whom an international arrest warrant was issued by Turkey for his alleged role in killing the Saudi dissident. Where that person is far from clear. According to one theory, he may actually be already in prison in Saudi Arabia.
Pfizer-BioNTech have said 3 doses of their COVID-19 vaccine have been able to neutralise the Omicron variant in laboratory tests. The manufacturers say that while 2 doses offer lower protection against Omicron, a third booster dose increased the neutralising antibodies significantly. Archaeologists working in eastern England have given details of the first example of a Roman crucifixion ever found in Britain. They uncovered the skeleton of a man who was found to have a nail driven through his right heel, along with other physical trauma. His remains were, among others, unearthed from a Roman-era settlement near modern-day Fenstanton. That's the latest world news from the BBC.